For the last few months, the internet has been buzzing with one phrase that keeps popping up in comment sections: leaks, Reddit threads, and tech Twitter timelines, Windows 12. Some people are excited, some people are confused, and some people are already exhausted because every few years, Microsoft promises a new era of Windows. And every time the question comes back stronger than before: is this really innovation, or is it just the same system with a new coat of paint? In 2025, this question matters more than ever, because for the first time in decades, Windows isn't automatically the obvious choice anymore. Linux distributions are no longer the niche, experimental, only for developers' operating systems they once were. They're competing head-to-head with Windows, not just on philosophy, but on usability, performance, stability, and even gaming. So today, let's slow down, cut through the rumors, and explain what Windows 12 is supposed to be, what Microsoft is actually trying to fix, and why Linux distros are quietly outperforming Microsoft's vision in 2025. First, let's talk about why Windows 12 rumors even exist in the first place. Microsoft officially said that Windows 11 would be the last version of Windows and that future updates would be continuous. That statement didn't age very well. Since then, we've seen massive UI changes, forced hardware requirements, AI integration pushed into every corner of the OS, and a subscription-style mindset creeping into what used to be a one-time purchase. Internally, Microsoft never stopped thinking in versions. Windows 12 is less about a clean break and more about resetting expectations. It's about marketing, control, and repositioning Windows in an era where cloud services, AI, and telemetry are more valuable to Microsoft than the operating system itself. Most Windows 12 leaks point to a system that is even more cloud-dependent than Windows 11. The idea is that Windows becomes a service platform first and a local operating system second. User profiles tied tightly to Microsoft accounts, AI features that require constant internet access, and system components that can be swapped or updated remotely. From Microsoft's perspective, this makes sense. It gives them control, consistent revenue, and data. From a user perspective, especially power users, developers, and privacy-conscious people, this feels like losing ownership of your own machine. And this is exactly where Linux quietly steps in and starts winning. While Microsoft is pushing Windows further into the cloud, Linux distributions are doing the opposite. They are focusing on local performance, efficiency, and user control. In 2025, Linux distros boot faster, use less RAM, and run comfortably on both modern and aging hardware. A mid-range laptop that struggles with Windows 11 feels reborn on Fedora, Linux Mint, Pop_OS, or even Arch-based systems. That matters in a world where hardware prices are rising and people want their devices to last longer. One of the biggest rumors around Windows 12 is its heavy reliance on AI. Microsoft wants AI everywhere: AI file search, AI task automation, AI system optimization, AI assistance deeply embedded into the shell. On paper, this sounds futuristic. In reality, it introduces new problems. AI features consume system resources, require constant background services, and often depend on cloud processing. This increases latency, power consumption, and privacy concerns. Linux, on the other hand, gives users choice. If you want AI tools, you can install them. If you don't, your system remains clean and fast. There's no forced assistant running in the background, no unexplained CPU spikes, and no telemetry disguised as smart features. Another major Windows 12 talking point is security. Microsoft loves to say that stricter hardware requirements and deeper system integration improve security. TPM, secure boot, and virtualization-based security are all presented as non-negotiable. The problem is that this approach locks out millions of perfectly capable machines and treats users as a security risk rather than a system owner. Linux takes a different path. Security is layered, transparent, and customizable. You can use secure boot if you want, encryption if you want, sandboxing if you want. You are informed, not forced. That distinction matters more than marketing slogans. In 2025, gaming is no longer Windows' guaranteed advantage. This is one of the most important shifts happening right now, and Windows 12 rumors tend to downplay it, thanks to Proton, Vulkan, and Valve's massive investment in Linux gaming. Thousands of Windows-only games now run flawlessly on Linux, often with equal or better performance. The Steam Deck didn't just sell a handheld console, it normalized Linux as a gaming platform. Developers now test their games against Proton compatibility. Anti-cheat systems that once blocked Linux are slowly opening up. Windows 12 can promise better gaming integration all at once, but Linux already delivered real results. Then there's the issue of system updates. Windows updates are still one of the most common complaints among users. Forced restarts, broken drivers, unexpected behavior changes, and updates that feel more like experiments than improvements. Windows 12 is rumored to introduce even more background updates and modular system components. Linux distros, meanwhile, have mastered the art of controlled updates. You decide when to update. You can roll back, you can stay on a stable release for years, or jump to the bleeding edge. For professionals, creators, and developers, this flexibility is priceless. Another overlooked aspect is software freedom and ecosystem direction. Windows is increasingly becoming a platform for Microsoft services rather than a neutral environment. Edge promotions, OneDrive nudges, Microsoft Store ads, and subscription upsells are everywhere. Even basic settings panels feel like marketing funnels. Linux distros don't treat users as customers to be monetized. They treat users as participants in a system. Even commercial Linux vendors like Red Hat or Canonical make their money through support, not coercion. That creates a fundamentally different relationship between the OS and the user. Windows 12 is also rumored to further blur the line between desktop and web applications. Progressive web apps, cloud-streamed apps, and browser-based workflows are being pushed as the future again. This aligns perfectly with Microsoft's business goals, but not necessarily with user needs. Linux remains unapologetically low-caft. Native apps, package managers, and system libraries are still central. You can work offline, develop offline, and create offline without your OS constantly checking in with a remote server. In education and developing markets, Linux is gaining ground fast. Lightweight distros run on older machines, don't require licensing fees, and can be customized for local needs. Windows 12, with its hardware demands and cloud expectations, risks widening the digital divide. Linux lowers it. This matters globally, not just for enthusiasts. The desktop experience itself has also quietly surpassed Windows in many ways. Modern Linux desktops are polished, consistent, and flexible. GNOME offers simplicity and focus. KDE Plasma offers unmatched customization. Cinnamon, XFCE, and others balance familiarity and performance. Windows 12 leaks suggest yet another UI redesign, another learning curve, another attempt to unify desktop and tablet experiences. Linux users choose the interface they want and stick with it for years. Developers are another group shifting toward Linux. Windows tried to respond with WSL, and while WSL is impressive, it's also an admission. Instead of making Windows better for development, Microsoft embedded Linux inside it. Many developers eventually ask the obvious question: if I'm already using Linux tools, why not just use Linux directly? Windows 12 doesn't change that equation. Linux distros are the native environment for modern development workflows, containers, servers, and cloud infrastructure. Privacy is the elephant in the room. Windows telemetry has been controversial for years. Windows 12 is unlikely to reduce data collection. If anything, AI features will increase it. Linux doesn't spy by default. Any data sharing is visible, documented, and usually optional. For journalists, researchers, activists, and anyone who values digital autonomy, this isn't a small detail, it's a deal breaker. What makes this moment different from past Linux is beating Windows' claims is that this isn't about ideology anymore. It's about practicality. People aren't switching to Linux to make a statement. They're switching because it's faster, cleaner, more stable, and more respectful of their time and hardware. Windows 12 is trying to solve Microsoft's problems, not necessarily user problems. Linux distros are solving user problems first, and business models second. None of this means Windows is going away. Windows 12 will exist, it will sell, and it will be used by millions. But the unquestioned dominance is over. In 2025, Windows has to compete, not dictate. And in that competition, Linux isn't chasing Windows anymore. It's running its own race. And for many users, it's already crossed the finish line. So when you hear Windows 12 rumors promising AI magic, smarter systems, and the future of computing, ask a simple question. Who is this future really for? Because right now, the future where your computer works for you, not the other way around, is already here. And for a growing number of people, that future runs on Linux.